One thing that we don't hear much about is the fact that right now in Israel, there are Jews working to build the third temple and usher in the Antichrist. And these Jews say that this Antichrist will be their Messiah and who will bring in an era of Jewish dominion and domination over the rest of the world. And to build this temple, to begin this whole process, this satanic process, the Jews say that they have to sacrifice a red heifer, a female cow, on this massive altar in what can only be accurately described as a repulsive Stone Age blood ritual that involves burning the cow and then using its ashes to cleanse the Temple Mount before construction of the third temple can begin. This heifer has to be pure red, without a single hair of another color, including on its hooves and eyelashes. It must have never given birth, it must have never been milked, it must have never been yoked, and it must be between 3 and 4 years old. So now these rabbis, Jewish religious leaders, and temple advocates have been scouring the planet for their perfect red heifer for years. And of course, now they say that they have found what they think could be a suitable match in the United States, and so they imported at least 5 of them to Israel from Texas, the Lone Star State. And now they have them locked in some secure, undisclosed location, and they're holding them captive there while they try to bring their perfect red heifer to proper sacrificing age. And many people believe that they're getting close. They're already building in Israel massive altars to sacrifice these animals on, and they're doing it with the support of Christians. American so-called Christians who have been trained to worship without question the secular nation state of Israel more than they worship Jesus Christ. To listen to the teachings of people like Pastor Greg Locke and other Zio-supremacist rabbis from some foreign country before they crack open their own Bible and just read the teachings of Jesus. These people are spitting directly in the face of Jesus. Jesus Christ is the temple now. He already sacrificed on the cross for us. The only thing that these people are sacrificing to is Satan. And it's not just Christians who will suffer, of course. No, everyone will. Muslims too. To build the third temple, to have any land on the Temple Mount to cleanse with this brutalized and burnt cow, the Jews will have to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And they're very open about their plans to do it. That's even played a role in the Israel-Hamas war. There is a large contingent of people across the political and religious spectrum who believe that Israel is using this war in Gaza as a pretext to go into the West Bank, to go into the old city of Jerusalem and clear out all of the Muslims and all of the Christians and seize the Temple Mount to begin construction of this third temple. In January, Hamas leadership specifically mentioned Israel's plans to sacrifice a red heifer and build the third temple as a reason behind the October 7th attacks and their ongoing war. CBS actually covered this, which is somewhat shocking, but worth a look. Watch.
Chris Livesay has the story from Jerusalem.
The infamous October 7 massacre that sparked a war. But one confounding yet eye-opening motive has escaped the headlines. In a recent speech, a Hamas spokesman blamed the Jews for bringing red cows to the Holy Land. The cows he's talking about at a secure, undisclosed location are these, red heifers, to be precise. Some Jews and Christians believe they're the key to rebuilding the historic Jewish temple in Jerusalem and to beckoning the Messiah. To understand, you have to go back nearly 2,000 years when the ancient Romans destroyed the last temple in the city. To rebuild it, these believers point to the Bible's book of Numbers. It commands the Israelites to sacrifice a red heifer without defect or blemish, and that has never been under a yoke. Only then can the temple rise again. Caring for them on an Israeli settlement in the West Bank is Yitzhak Mamo.
So we have here, after a long research, we find in Texas.
In Texas?
Texas, United States of America.
Texas Red Angus, flying them 7,000 miles to Israel.
This is not a publicity stunt.
What do you mean?
Meaning, this is something you take very seriously.
Harry Potter is a good story. The Bible is not story. The Bible is a way of God to lead us.
A massive altar already awaits, where the heifers are to be burned.
According to some believers, the ceremony needs to be performed right here on the Mount of Olives, looking directly into where the temple once stood. But something else now stands in its place.
The Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa Mosque, among the holiest sites in Islam. Today, only Muslims are allowed inside, but that's not stopping Jewish activists outside.
Once you got, you started here.
6 days a week, Melissa Jane Kronfeld leads groups from around the world who defiantly pray, as close as armed guards permit.
It's not about the destruction of Islamic holy sites. It's about preserving this place and being guardians over the house of God for all people.
So you're happy with it where it is?
No, it's going to go 100%, but I believe
it's going to go.
It's 100%. Yeah, the whole thing is going to go. We have to build a temple.
When you say that Dome of the Rock has to go, MJ, it's hard for me to imagine something more incendiary.
Well, let me ask you something. The Middle East seems pretty destabilized right now, and the war, if I'm not mistaken, is already here.
It's been enough to incite numerous Islamist groups. Hamas has dubbed its October 7 assault on Israel the Al-Aqsa Wave and has the Dome of the Rock on its emblem. But this is sacred ground to billions of Muslims globally, not just Hamas terrorists, stresses Imam Mustafa Abu Sway of Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Al-Aqsa Mosque belongs to all Muslims. So you'll find reaction from Indonesia to Toronto to New York. That's really given. Al-Aqsa Mosque belongs to all Muslims, and the Muslims today are 2 billion people.
Simply by performing these acts, are these Jewish activists kicking a hornet's nest?
They are.
A hornet's nest they're kicking all the way to Capitol Hill.
So good to see you here in the nation's capital.
Those sacred cows were showcased in Washington at a recent prayer gathering. Many evangelicals believe these red heifers will usher Christ's second coming.
And we need the Messiah to come, right? So for me, the red heifer, it's red for the blood of Jesus Christ.
Back in the West Bank, Mamo says the ceremony could take place any day.
But can you understand why Hamas could be outraged by something like this?
I cannot understand that even if they are right, why they have to slaughter and people to win their war.
Terrorists have been attacking us before we ever dreamed of these cows, he reflects. They don't need them as an excuse to kill. For CBS Saturday Morning, Chris Livesay, Jerusalem.
So, did you catch that? Were you listening closely? The war is already here. This temple builder told CBS herself that they're using this war with Hamas to seize the Temple Mount and build the third temple. They're doing everything that they can to expand this war to ensnare the entire Holy Land and give the Jews a pretext for storming into Old City Jerusalem and seizing lands still held by Muslims and also Christians and paving the way for the construction of their temple, and they're already doing it. They've been running attacks on the Armenian Christians of the Old City for months now, using attack dogs and even nerve agents to terrorize clergymen and force them out of the area. This is an ethnic cleansing being run by Jewish expansionists with Israeli police escorts. They want this land because they want to dominate the entire area, including the nearby West Bank, where they'll also expand their war and take out the rest of the Palestinians before marching into the rest of the Middle East and creating their fantasy country of Greater Israel. And all of this is directly connected to the Zio expansionist war machine. They're using their military, and they're using our military and our tax dollars to seize the land that they need to summon the Antichrist.